Hey there, it's God-given. This is a guide to JIANXIN. This guide is catered more to casual players, so you will not see any theory crafting charts in this video. This video's purpose is to give you the understanding of how to build and play JIANXIN. In my opinion, JIANXIN is the best character for a casual player, as she is a unit that can do basically everything. She can deal damage, heal, give shields and buff the team all at once, which makes her perfect for any casual in-game activities, like overworld exploration. JIANXIN also mainly deals AoE damage, so she is amazing for doing domains or tacit fields. With the intro out of the way, let's get into the guide. We'll start with JIANXIN's kit. JIANXIN's basic attack chain consists of 4 attacks, each attack filling up her forte gauge resource called Chi. The second and third attacks of the chain are multi-hit, so it's quite easy to parry enemy attacks with them, even if you mess up the timings a little bit. JIANXIN's resonance skill can either be tapped or held. If you tap the skill, JIANXIN will perform an attack in a straight line in front of her, which deals some light damage. If her skill is held, then JIANXIN will enter a parry stance for 3 seconds. If she is hit while in the parry stance, JIANXIN will not take damage and will perform a counter attack, which deals a moderate amount of damage. Using the skill restores some Chi even if you don't hit an enemy with it, and if you do hit someone, it restores even more Chi. A funny trick you can do with JIANXIN's skill is you can hold your skill and then switch out to another character. JIANXIN will stay in the parry stance for a few seconds and then hit the enemies with the skill while being off field. JIANXIN's Resonance Liberation creates a cool ass yin and yang sign on the field, which pulls nearby enemies inside of it and deals a lot of AoE damage. JIANXIN's intro skill deals a minor amount of damage, pulls nearby enemies closer and restores some Chi. Moving on to the most interesting part of JIANXIN's kit, her Forte Circuit. Once JIANXIN's Forte gauge is full, which is filled by hitting enemies with her basics, using and hitting enemies with her Resonance skill and intro skill, JIANXIN can perform an enhanced heavy attack called Zhoutian Progress, Zhuqian Progress, Choutian Progress, I'm not exactly certain. In any case, the moment you use the heavy attack, JIANXIN will gain a small shield and start channeling through the different stages of the attack, getting increased resistance interruption and receiving a 50% damage taken reduction, while constantly hitting enemies in an AoE around her. At the end of every stage, which are split by 2 markings on the Forte gauge, JIANXIN will gain a shield and will deal a lot of heavy attack damage in a huge AoE around her, which becomes bigger throughout the attack. If at any point of the attack the channeling stops, JIANXIN will deal some minor damage in front of her. The shield gained from the enhanced heavy attack will stay on the active character for 30 seconds, and it doesn't disappear if you swap characters. While the shield is active, every 6 seconds the active character will also be healed. As you could guess, the enhanced heavy attack is the most complex and important piece of JIANXIN's kit, so her playstyle will be centered around utilizing it in the best way possible. Finishing up the kit part of the video, JIANXIN's outro skill provides a 38% Resonance Liberation damage amplification to the character you swap to after JIANXIN for 14 seconds or until this character is switched off field. When leveling up talents, prioritize the Forte Circuit and the Resonance Liberation first, then basic attacks and resonance skill. Intro skill doesn't deal too much damage and is going to be the last priority. So, to recap, JIANXIN is a very versatile unit that can either be a damage dealer, a support for the team, or a mix of both. I'll cover JIANXIN's playstyle and rotations a bit later in the video. For now, here's the best way to build JIANXIN. For JIANXIN's echoes, depending on the way you want to play her, you have a few options. If you're planning to use her as a main DPS, the best set for JIANXIN will be the Sierra Gale set. If you're planning to use her as a sub DPS, then go for either Sierra Gale or Moonlit Cloud's 5-piece sets. Sierra Gale would allow JIANXIN to dish out more DPS herself, but Moonlit Clouds will allow JIANXIN to buff the main DPS of the team. If you're planning to use JIANXIN as a full support, then Moonlit Clouds or Rejuvenating Glow are your best options. Do note that if you want to build a DPS JIANXIN and you do not have good 5-piece sets, then getting a 2-piece build is fine. Sierra Gale plus Lingering Tunes or Sierra Gale plus Moonlit Clouds are both solid options. For the full support build though, you don't need to bother too much with the substats on your echoes, so getting a 5-piece set there is a bigger priority. I'll start with the DPS builds first, as most people are going to build JIANXIN this way. For the main stats, get attack percent on the 1 costs, aero damage on the 3 costs, and crit rate or crit damage on 4 costs. Get whichever one you like more. For main DPS or sub DPS JIANXIN, prioritize getting the following substats: crit rate and crit damage, attack percent, heavy attack damage, resonance liberation damage, and energy regen. Basic attack damage and flat attack are also nice to have. For the echo skills, if you're using the Sierra Gale set, then use the Phalian Berengal Monkey 4 cost for the aero damage and heavy attack damage buffs. For the Moonlit Cloud set, use the Impermanence Heron to get more buffs for your team. Now for the support build. For the main stats, get attack percent on 1 costs, energy regen on 3 costs, and healing bonus or attack percent on the 4 costs. For the substats, you can just focus on getting attack percent and energy regen. Nothing else will matter too much. For the echo skills, Impermanence Heron for the Moonlit Cloud set or the Bellborn Geochelon for the Rejuvenating Glow set. For the late game, aim to get a 4-3-3-1-1 echo setup. Before you get to it, using a 4-4-1-1-1 is also a solid option. With the echoes out of the way, we can get to weapon choices. For the most amount of damage in order of priority, the standard 5-star weapon Abyss Surges is JIANXIN's best in slot. Hollow Mirage, a weapon you can get from the gacha, or Stonard, the Battle Pass gauntlets, are the second best options. After that come Gauntlets 21 and Mercato. Gauntlets of Night are also a solid 3-star option. If you're going for the support build, then Mercato and Gauntlets 21 are great because of their energy regen main stat, but you could also use the 3-star Originite Type 4 in case you're using the Rejuvenating Glow set, as the passive on these gauntlets allows you to proc the set bonus without having to use JIANXIN's enhanced heavy attack. Now for the teams. JIANXIN is a very versatile unit that can fit into almost any team if she's used as a sub DPS or a full support. Note that for all the teams I'll list now, when I say sustain, I mean Verena or Baija, as they can provide healing and the damage amplification with their outro skills. Kalkaro JIANXIN Sustain, where JIANXIN is used as a sub DPS and a buffer for Kalkaro. Kalkaro Yinlin JIANXIN, where JIANXIN is used as a support with the Rejuvenating Glow set. Rover JIANXIN Sustain or Chisha JIANXIN Sustain, where JIANXIN is a sub DPS and a buffer for Rover or Chisha. You get the drill. There's a lot of potentially interesting teams in which JIANXIN can fit. If you have a favorite main DPS, then try to pair them with JIANXIN as either a sub DPS or a support, and she'll be a fine addition to the team in many situations. Now, if you want to use JIANXIN as a main DPS, here are a few potential teams. JIANXIN Yinlin Sustain is a great option, as Yinlin deals a lot of off-field damage, and she can also buff JIANXIN's Resonance Liberation damage with her outro skill. JIANXIN Mortefi Sustain is amazing for a similar reason. Mortefi provides off-field damage and heavy attack damage amplification with his outro skill. JIANXIN Alto Sustain is also a great option, as Alto can give JIANXIN aero damage amplification with his outro skill. Let's get to the rotations. JIANXIN's rotations are pretty similar in any role she plays, as the main goal is to get her forte gauge full as fast as possible and get her enhanced heavy attack in. For the main DPS role, you should get JIANXIN's forte bar to full first, then get the buff from the sub DPS or the support in your team, after which you use JIANXIN's ultimate and enhanced heavy attack to get a huge burst of damage. The easiest way to get JIANXIN's forte bar from 0 to 100 is to use 2 basic attack chains and resonance skill in between them. If you're playing a sub DPS or support JIANXIN, you can also opt out of her using her basics much and use her as a quick swap unit, where you swap in, use her resonance and echo skills, and swap back to your main DPS until you have the forte gauge filled on JIANXIN, then use her heavy attack and repeat the process. A funny trick you can do with support JIANXIN is use the Bellborn Geochelon echo skill and then use the enhanced heavy attack. This combination allows you to have 100% damage resistance until you get hit 3 times, so you can pretty much guarantee that JIANXIN's entire heavy attack channeling completes. That's it for the guide. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more videos like this one, then like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching.